Welcome to the 5-Day Finish Challenge. I'm your host, Robin Walker. I am your business coach, podcast host, and host of this challenge. I'm excited that you're here, and I hope that you are ready to get to work and get some things off your list or get a project launched before summer hits, because if you're doing this when we're doing it live, summer is right around the corner. So I challenge you to go through all 5 days so that at the end of the week, you have finished a project or a stubborn to-do that's been on your list for a while. I encourage a lot of my clients to have a someday list. That is a list that when you come up with a new idea, instead of just jumping right in and doing it, which we all do, which sometimes then ends up to be productive procrastination with something we should be doing, you can just put it on your someday list. And it just means not now, but maybe someday. So if you have one of those someday lists, maybe this challenge you'd like to concentrate on one of those. Or you may want to choose something that's just kind of stubborn. But each day, I'm going to be coming in to your inbox with some encouragement and then your daily task. I also have some insight for you on things that are going to help you be more productive, help achieve these goals, and actually get them done. So be sure to check the emails every day. Even if you see a lot going on in the Facebook group, check your emails, save those so that when you are stuck in the future, you can go back through this process and achieve one of your goals. All right, so the first step, I'd like you to take one of those items on your to-do list. One thing that you want to get completed by Friday. So keep that in mind that you're going to be working on this just this week and hoping to make progress or complete it by Friday. So keep that in mind when you choose your task. All right, so I want you to choose one task. If you use the printables that are also in this day one email, you'll have a printable that you can work through as we work through this little video. So you want to choose your task and write that on your worksheet. Now these tasks, I want you to pick one that fits into one of these three categories. It is either fun, because if something is fun or you're excited about it, you're going to have a higher chance of completing it. So it's either fun or it's impactful. So it is something that if you think that if you put this into your business, you've thought about it strategically, of course, but it's something that's going to make an impact on your business. Okay, or the third thing is that it is something that's necessary. Maybe this task isn't fun and it's not going to make a huge impact, but it is necessary. Possibly this is complying with GDPR, or it is filing business taxes, or getting your QuickBooks organized. It is something necessary in your business that you've been putting off. So when you look at your task item, is it either fun, impactful, or necessary? If it doesn't fit in one of those categories, that's okay, but I just don't want you to be wasting your time and energy. So if you do have one that fits in one of those categories, that might be a better one to choose for this week. Now we're gonna get down to the heart of why. Why has this item been on your to-do list for so long? I find that there's about 5 reasons that people have things on a to-do list and they have not completed them. One, sometimes the timing is just off, and this isn't a bad thing. I like when people give things time and they give things time to stew in their brain, to brainstorm. So it's not a bad thing, but usually one of them could be timing it was just off, so you haven't done it yet. Number 2, it might be a financial investment to complete this thing on your list, and that is something that you have to address at some point, but maybe that's why it hasn't been completed. Number 3, a big one, is fear. Fear that you aren't going to be able to complete it, that you're not good enough to do it, fear of if it's successful, what that actually might look like for you. So there's a lot. Fear can really be wrapped into why we procrastinate. Number 4, another really common one, is we don't know where to get started. So let's say on your list is to do a podcast. You want to start one, host one, launch it, but you haven't started because you just don't even know where to begin. Very common, very normal. And last is that you just don't want to. Maybe there's something on your list that just does not sound fun to you. It's not in your strengths, but it has to get done. It's necessary. So maybe you just kind of don't want to do it. So it just sits on your list and you just keep passing it from quarter to quarter or day to day onto your list. So what I want you to do is we're going to figure out and get down to the heart of why you haven't finished this item yet. Now you might think you know. So just go through this with me. So part of the worksheet is going through, it looks like, oh, that's just the same questions over and over again, but give me a chance. All right, so I want you to think at the top of your head, what is the one reason why you haven't completed this task? And I want you to write it on the top line about why hasn't this been finished. Then I want you to take the next step and say, well, what's the solution for that? So let's say for me, it would be, I want to start a podcast and I'm not sure where to begin. So my problem is I didn't know where to start. Well, a solution might be go watch a YouTube video on how to start a podcast. So now is there a reason that it's stopping me from doing that? What's stopping me from going right now to go watch YouTube videos? Maybe it's I'm afraid that I will watch someone who gives bad advice. Now we're looking into fear. So what's a solution for that? Maybe you can ask for referrals from people who have podcasts. How did you get started? Who do I trust? What YouTube video would you recommend? So now you could do that action step. And if you won't, now what's holding you back? Maybe it's mindset around who am I to even have a podcast? So if you watch, as you work through them, really try to be honest, really try to be insightful, and work through this process until you get to a point that one of your action items, you actually could go do that today or tomorrow morning. So you want to just keep breaking it down until there's an action step that you know you could either address or you could do it. If it's a mindset issue, then that means your next step is addressing that mindset issue and figuring that out. Sometimes the best part of that is figuring out what's the worst case scenario. So I listened to someone who has bad advice on YouTube. I think you're going to figure it out as you start planning things that it's not the right advice. So work through that and really try to figure out what it is that's stopping you. So when you get to that point of action, that's address it or do it, that's where we're going to stop. So then what I want you to do for today, the action steps, once you've filled this out and you've figured out what's holding you back from doing this task, I want you to do the following. And all of this is in the email that I sent. First thing, the task that you chose. Now let me back up a minute and say that if the task you chose, when you worked through it, you got to a point that you cannot move forward. So let's say it is doing something that's going to be a huge financial investment that you physically can't do right now. And maybe you can raise money and you can put money aside and you can make a plan for that. That could actually be your task for this week, is to come up with a plan and where to raise the money to do the thing you want to do. Or you can choose a different task. If it's something that you physically cannot do in 5 days, then you're going to want to pick a different task. So I want you to write down the task or project you want to complete by Friday. I want you to write that on a Post-it note. We all have Post-it notes. If you don't, go ask your kids. One of them is probably obsessed with school supplies and has more than enough. All right, so you're going to write down that task on a Post-it note. Then you are going to put that Post-it note somewhere where you will see it at least 5 times a day. If you don't go to your office that often, don't put it in there. Put it on the fridge. Put it on your laptop. Better yet, take a picture of the Post-it and use it on the screensaver on your phone. You will see it more than 5 times a day, I can guarantee you. So put it where you're going to see it multiple times a day. Don't care if your family sees it. They're going to be like, what is this thing? Doesn't matter. It's your goal. And if anything, you're modeling to them how to achieve your goals. When you write down your goals, you have a much higher percentage of achieving that goal. Just the simple act of writing it down and then posting it where you will see it, Those two actions right there are putting you miles ahead of someone who just thinks of the goal in their head. So you're already ahead once you do that. All right, then when you have it down, then I want you to write somewhere on this worksheet, wherever, circle or write down your action step. That one thing that you're either going to address or do for this task, the thing we just came up with. So either circle it, highlight it, write it down somewhere. Then, if you would like to, we're going to have prizes, and those are all posted in the group. But for the prizes, I'm going to make you work for them, girls. We are not going to just throw them out there. You're going to work for them. And it's extra motivation because it makes it fun. And things that are fun, you have a higher chance of completing. So, for the prizes, for Monday, you have the option to win 2 points. So 2 entries into the prize bin. So the first one is if you make a post and post it in the group, you use the hashtag 5-day finish day 1. And we want to use the number 1. So the number 5, day finish, day, and the number 1. That's your hashtag. That way, if it doesn't have the hashtag, it's not entered, because then I'm going to search that hashtag and then find all the people that entered. So you get 1 point if you do a post with the task or project you want to finish and your first step. Okay, that's 1 point if you do that post. Then if you include a picture in your post of your post-it, then it's 2 points. Okay? And even if you're not doing it for the points, do it for the other women in the group that are holding back or maybe unsure about posting their task or their goals, because telling other people also increases your chances of completing your goal. So we want everyone in the group to feel comfortable sharing. So the more people that start sharing, the more comfortable everyone else is going to feel. So even if you're not trying to do the points, or you're like, I'm just going to do this on the side by myself, I'm just going to, keep to myself and do it. Well, you get far less encouragement. You get far less engagement. There might be someone you might post, I want to start a podcast. And a podcaster in the group might say, hey, I can help you with that. Or I've got this great video that can help lay it all out how to do it. So you're limiting yourself if you're just going to keep this to yourself and do it on your own. Jump in the group, get some camaraderie, and also get a higher chance of winning prizes. All right, so you're writing your task down on a Post-it. You're posting it somewhere you'll see it all day. Then you're writing down your one task that you can finish, ideally by tomorrow, before you watch the video too. And then you're going to post in the group. Last step, guys. Last step. Just go do the thing. It's just one step. It's just one thing. Just go do the thing. All right, that's day 1, everybody. That's a wrap.